There are two of the most dangerous sewing jobs in this world. One is sewing a wedding dress for a picky mother-in-law, and the other is sewing an atmosphere for astronauts floating out there in space. And honestly, the second job is millions of times more stressful. Why? Because an Earth tailor only fears the needle pricking a finger, while a space tailor fears an entire human exploding on a planet. Did you know a tiny needle hole on a space station is far more terrifying than a hungry tiger in a wedding dress waiting room? It is the ¡1 enemy of these space master tailors. Imagine going to buy fabric. The seller doesn't hand you silk or cotton, but instead, ultra-elastic aluminum titanium alloy capable of withstanding temperatures from -150 to +150 degrees Celsius, and most importantly, never allowed to tear. Yeah, because if it tears, it's not a wardrobe malfunction. It's the atmosphere and human life leaking straight into outer space. And what is their thread? Laser welds accurate down to individual atoms. And you know what? Weld one line wrong, and it's not something you can just undo and redo. It's a billion-dollar project, an entire astronaut crew, and the future of a whole mission that could be completely gone. So who are these special tailors? They don't sit cross-legged on the floor hugging a pillow. They are master engineers working in clean rooms even stricter than operating rooms. A single dust particle, a single strand of hair falling into a seam can create a fatal weak point. That's why they have to wear outfits like laboratory ninjas, which breathe through filtration systems and have hands gentler than a supermodel's. One sneeze, and you could be fired on the spot. Why? Because you just embroidered a seed of destruction into your product. No joke. And now comes the funniest, yet most head-scratching part. The enemies these space tailors must face. Enemy number 1, thermal expansion. Out in space, one side is blasted by 150-degree heat, the other sinks into -150-degree darkness. Their metal fabric expands and contracts like my stomach when I'm starving outside a sandwich shop. If the stitching isn't perfect, the welds will be torn apart and cracked by the temperamental queen called temperature. Enemy number 2, micrometeorites. Bullets of space, tiny grains of dust and rock, but traveling at speeds 10 times faster than bullets. They are invisible scissors constantly lurking to cut your threads. The solution? They must sew multiple layers of super strong Kevlar armor on the outside, like tailoring a bulletproof jacket for an egg. Enemy number 3, pressure, the giant that always wants to explode. Inside the station is breathable pressure. Outside is a vacuum trying to suck everything out. That shell must endure an enormous force, like an entire building pressing down on every square meter, day and night, year after year. Sewing a bag that can withstand that is already hard. Here they're sewing an entire mobile pressure house, and it even needs windows to enjoy the view. Harder than a beauty pageant. But do you know what's the most bitter part? After all those exquisite stitches and perfect welds, not a single astronaut, one when stepping out into space, has time to admire and say, "Wow, what beautiful seams." Because the greatest success of these anonymous tailors is invisibility. It's when everything works so smoothly that people forget it even exists. They sew with absolute precision so those heroes can breathe normally and do extraordinary things.